So week 5 was an extension of this camera behind the back concept, where basically the camera's rigged at my own back, showing just the back of my head as well as the view in front of me. And I was like looking through influences, particularly Paul Blatt and Jana Sternberg's series. Paul Blatt was kind of focused just showing at the back of people's heads, and Jana Sternberg was also like attaching the camera to a dog's body, and then basically just captures the dog traveling through Venice. And I found that quite an interesting influence, considering that we're basically seeing the world through the lens of something that's not human, or something that's more of like this interpretive series where we're basically seeing the world from a different point of view. And I like that in the sense that it treated the photography as very objective and very like, this is what the dog sees. And then with Paul Blatt's series, just showing the back of people's heads and what they see, has this kind of almost alien and isolating feeling to it, where we can't really get attached to the subject matter because we're not interpreting what people see and like how they express it and how they view it. And so there's this like ambiguity to how we perceive the images being shown. And I found that when I showed my next series of images, which was a lot of me just walking about and going to like very ordinary places, I found a lot of the students were kind of like, they were kind of like, oh, I don't really know the tone of this because we can't see what you're feeling and you're expressing. And I kind of liked that because it had that like almost like surrogate aspect where the audience can kind of jump into the body of me and then experience the world around. And I found that the feedback that I got for this time around was more of like, why don't you put this rig on other people's bodies and almost do like a series where it shows like the day in the life of other people, and it creates more of this like neutral, objective pinpoint of photography. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then another aspect was just like, how would I design the rig and how would I incorporate the safety aspects so that, you know, they're gonna make sure the camera's not gonna get dropped, or they're gonna make sure that there's also no like room for the camera to go slightly off kilter on the composition, because there was still a lot more kind of research and development with making sure that rig is pretty sturdy. So I definitely was considering doing something like that. But yeah, I still was kind of like, it's a good idea, but I'm still also like, I think there's more potential with this, and therefore Steph gave me a few more kind of resources that I needed to go through for the following week.